Hello and welcome to Campaign Comrades, your favorite leftist gaming podcast. It is that time of the month, folks. We are all on our monthly cycle.
Our mood cycle.
We
Our
have
Aunt News showed up.
so we have we have synced up, and Aunt News is here. We are going over the things that drew our attention from the month of April. I had to double check
I have to
quickly in my
say,
mind.
as
It's like,
someone who
what fucking month
scrolled
is it?
through, as someone who scrolled through the whole month's news thing yesterday, what a shit month of news.
Yeah, it wasn't there.
It wasn't great.
Oftentimes Matt's like is like, well, he does the lion's share of just, examining the things. He makes a nice little list for us. He pulls out some of the highlights after the fact, but he's usually like, oh, the slow month for news, and like meanwhile, like huge things like, were shipped, and like big controversies and all that, and like slow month for news. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I had the same thought this month. Was like, yeah, like I don't remember sending a lot of things. I don't remember reading a lot of things that stood out to me. There have been a couple releases.
Hence our picks.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, you have to also realize, like, from a financial standpoint, this is now the first month of the quarter for
right.
all these companies, and usually
And
first month is when you're at your quietest.
Yeah, they like to.
Everyone was getting their personal taxes done last minute.
They like to backload that shit. End of quarter. They like to see the bump, the little bump. Nobody's paying attention to.
It's artificial bumping because you suppress the first quarter so that when third quarter's higher, or you're sitting there like, wow, look at this quarterly jump. Look how good we're doing.
And New York State was doing its budget this month, so all lobbying efforts and news, at least in the Northeast, are focused on fucking what the budget's going to be, why it's late, how are they going to fund the Croatian Eric Adams was partying, trying to figure out how to suppress protesters. There's a lot of other things going on.
Maybe it's just because I'm like not fully tuned into New York news and politics. I only see the most outrageous things with Eric Adams. I have not seen him post any response or anything about like
he really
Columbia protests, which is surprising. Him being
that's because he's in Golan Heights right now. He's surveying his plot of land that he's going to take. He's too busy doing that.
I figured he was just meeting with the guard of Lanedell and plotting his.
Who was it? Is it Turkey that essentially financed his entire campaign?
Yeah. He's got a corruption scandal going on with
he's got other things to worry about.
Some Turkey people, yeah.
What was it? Enos Freedom?
Turks,
probably. I wouldn't doubt it.
It definitely was a guy that he's tied to.
No,
What's
it's
the
not.
guy that's like living in
Ennis
Pennsylvania?
is anti-Erdogan, right? Isn't he anti-Erdogan?
Yeah, he's a Gulenist.
Oh, and it was Erdogan that was backing it.
Yeah. It's like it's like the Turkish government. It was like he literally took money to help them finish their consulate or whatever in New York.
I mean, he is Turkish, so
yeah,
spiritually at least.
Yeah.
I did.
Is it a Tuesday?
We love him, folks. What do we think? What do we think his build is going to be for Shadow of the Erd Tree?
I mean, he's going to be fat rolling day one, and he's going to be fat rolling on the final day as well, because fat rolling is a way of life and a mentality.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's a lean guy. He's vegan. He's not going to be overburdening his body.
Yeah, that's why he's going to be wearing the heaviest armor to protect that lean vegan body.
He'll be cheesing full every possible cheese you can do.
Every encounter will be done with a minimum of 30 seconds of buffing.
Folks, they call Brooklyn the Mogwin Palace of the Northeast.
I mean,
what's the? I mean, does the mayor have a particular residence like
yes.
like governors do?
It's in Manhattan.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
the
it's
name
in
of it?
Manhattan. It's called Gracie Manor.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Gracie Manor is the Mogwin Palace of the Northeast.
Many people are saying it.
He definitely is a samurai and is rocking the Radon double great swords.
I dig it. He's holding the stars back, all right.
Yeah,
But yeah,
he is a star.
we're a couple months ahead. I'm jonesing to get talking about Elden Ring we're gonna be doing
Hell yeah.
Elden Ring coverage for the DLC. I'm gonna have to do another at least New Game Plus playthrough to get myself prepped for the DLC. But
I think I'm
currently,
gonna do a PS5 playthrough.
I mean, all you have to do is get to you gotta beat. I mean, obviously, you gotta get some of the early bosses, but basically, you gotta just beat Radon and Moog. That's it. Because Matt has told me you can technically skip actually some of the early ones, right?
Yeah, you can go
if you do
completely around
if you do
Stormville.
if you do some chicanery.
It's not even chicanery. It's just a fucking path.
I thought it was a little bit more complex than that, but
I mean,
was a little bit
complex in the
snake.
fact that it's not just like arrows pointing at it, like follow me.
Yeah,
it requires like looking at the map and be like, huh, I can go over here.
I am, since I'm not a game replayer, in general, I'm going to be interested to see how I feel about dipping my toes back in to doing another playthrough before new content. But
but with the open world,
content.
yeah, and with the open world, it's something you could just like go back to. I feel
it's been long enough. It's been long enough for me that besides like, the major bosses and stuff, I don't really remember a whole lot of things.
Most of the fun of replaying these games is trying different builds and like going in with different ideas.
Paths.
Yeah. Which I'm I'm currently stuck in a different build already.
I feel like everyone hasn't lived until they've done a bonk build where they just pick up the biggest hammer and they hit everything with big bonks and they watch giant chunks of health bars disappear.
Yeah, you gotta do jump attack bonk, Jump
it's
attack
like
double
fucking
bonk.
Smash Bros when you get the hammer.
Yeah.
Like there's just something satisfying about hitting a button and watching like, a fifth of a health bar disappear. You're like, oh, that feels good.
But I know until then, Andrew and I are going to be, we're going to come back. We're going to come back to the pod, and just one arm is going to be considerably stronger than the other as we play.
From jerking off.
Yeah, yeah. As we're playing Stellar Blade one-handed.
The subtlety of the joke was not necessary, I guess.
I can't see straight lines anymore. Everything has a curvature to it.
Like your cock.
When things don't jiggle unnecessarily, I get an uncanny valley now.
There's some joke in there about this being like feminist propaganda, so you can't see the waviness when they add a filter to pictures anymore.
But Andrew and I have started playing Stellar Blade. I played on stream last night, the night before recording. And I did get to the hub area, the first, the main hub area. I've yet to like go out into the first open world space. Yeah. But oh my god, after you guys logged off, it took me like another 20 minutes to be able to figure out what I needed to do to be able to actually save the game. Like I couldn't find apparently I remember when I was walking into the city that there was a second save station somewhere, but couldn't find it again. So I had to like go through that first bit of starting side quest to then be able to go back to the ship and save there. And that's where I found like I got drone gun and then was able to save.
Okay. Yeah, you totally probably just like ran by it and then further ran away and then couldn't, just like got too confused.
It's not a huge map. I feel like I ran around the whole city part and can't find it.
Huh.
You see,
like,
what had
I'll
happened
go
was you
back.
had become hypnotized.
Yeah.
My eyes were drawn in one direction only. You can infer what direction that was.
And it was the hair.
I'm enjoying it so far. They've really nailed the parry feedback.
Yeah.
Feels good. It's got some good haptic to it, and it's just the audio design is just, that's key to any good parry. Like, I guess that's a decent transition to like my first kind of actual little story for the week until we actually get into industry stuff. Is I was selected to be a beta tester for a game that I
A
played.
beta cuck?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're beta skilling all over here, killing those
Absolutely.
alpha nativas with our beta skill. Yeah, no, I applied for, like, you had to submit like this like pretty in-depth survey where you talked about your gaming preferences, but as well as like you had to give specific details about your hardware, um because they were trying to,
Get a feel for how it runs on different
yeah,
hardware.
they were trying to get a strong sample size from varying hardware specs. So I had to like go back and double check and confirm that I had the right stuff. And yeah, I got selected to test the upcoming game Where Winds Meet, which I know you guys have seen, because I wouldn't surprise me if you completely memory hold it, but we definitely saw it at like a summer showcase thing. It's a Chinese game. um I guess
They're infiltrating us.
the developer is Everstone Studios. It's being published by NetEase. But so NetEase has all my data. um it is very much like, going to be like a kind of like a Souls like, but its major inspiration is the Chinese genre of wuxia, which is like kind of mystical martial arts. Think like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Man, wushu.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, so it's got all these it's got this cool baseline concept for its combat. There's going to be, I think, a lot of variety. And what made me remember that I wanted to talk about that is that one of my biggest complaints about it was that there was like next to zero feedback for the parry. Um, and I only ended up playing the beta for like a couple hours because I realized that like I'm not a good audience for unfinished and pre-release games.
Yeah.
I stick clear from early access, folks, and so like some bits looked good and were polished, and there's like plenty of like jank in terms of like animations and textures not loading properly. But just my biggest thing was honestly was like the UI and their level of tutorialization for their mechanics. There was at the same time lots of like little tutorial pop-ups, but did not actually explain things well enough. And there was like clear that there was a lot of concepts, lots of gear, lots of skills, lots of styles is actually more what it was. And it's not like I saw like extensive skill trees or anything. It was more just like that you get these different weapons, and then you could kind of customize a style, and you learn skills by talking to people and other like martial arts masters, and you like learn their styles and stuff. But it was like there was a lot there, and I think it could be good and like have a lot of depth and a lot of customization. But what was presented, at least in those first few hours of the beta, was just overwhelming to a point where I didn't know and what I was supposed to do, and the combat, excuse me, felt too floaty and not didn't have a strong sense of feedback. So, impacts didn't have a lot of weight to them. Like I said, parries had no feeling to them whatsoever. I left with, those impressions of they need to clean up UI. They need to kind of overhaul and rethink their system tutorialization, but that I do think that there's something interesting there. And I do think that there's something that could be pretty cool. Because depending on the hardware you have, this could be a pretty beautiful looking game. It didn't look like it was fully polished, and textures maybe need a little bit more work, but like some of the environments and some of these shots as you come into a new environment was pretty stunning. So I think it's something to be on the lookout for, and something I may not necessarily have enjoyed my time in the demo, or I keep want to call it demo, in the beta. I think it did enough to catch my interest to keep an eye out for it. But then just like it's put into such stark relief, after playing just even a few hours now of Stellar Blade, how how polished Stellar Blade is in terms of its technical state, its mechanical state. It's pretty impressive. I know, Andrew, you've been kind of gushing about it.
Yeah, no, I think the parry is just really well done, and overall the combat is just it's a great loop. Like they have the timing down so that you're challenged, but not in a frustrating way, which is where I sometimes butt up against the From like fully hardcore style. Is I don't love being frustrated, but this one has just the right balance of challenge and pulling off the cool moves successfully, and making Eve do combat in a way that isn't just fun but also like very aesthetically pleasing.
Speaking
Well,
of
it's still
aesthetics, I'm just gonna say this now. I don't want to like wade in and talk about like the culture war bullshit that is going on. It's so dumb both ways, and that's gonna be the only.
Always.
I refuse to elaborate any further. Um, it's stupid. The game is fun to play and good to look at. So there you go. But Matt, sorry, I cut you off.
all I was going to say is along the lines of you're talking of polish. I had read something from someone in the development cycle that the game had been done for a decent amount of time, and that they were trying to get like, and I bring it up because I think it's funny, but they were working on the hair physics, making sure that the hair physics like worked properly,
The hardest thing to do.
because they were
the
literally
game
saying that
lead.
if they had cut her hair short, that the game could have come out like 8 months ago.
That was the game director. I'm pretty sure that was a comment he made.
Yeah.
And it's very funny because you can actually go in the settings and change the length of her ponytail
Yeah.
even before you can like customize. Like there's a side quest where you go and there's a hairdresser. You go and find his tools, and he opens up a shop,
Salon.
and you can customize her appearance further. But even before that, yeah, you can make the ponytail short if you want, I guess. I don't know,
Yeah,
it's funny.
apologies to the devs, but I totally made the ponytail short.
Why? Don't give me your
Yeah,
reasoning.
why?
Because I honestly think, despite all
Andrew
that
doesn't
time
like long
spent,
hair.
no, I do. It just doesn't look great. It just doesn't look great. It looks like just some lines on the screen statically moving back and forth.
It is probably its least successful visual
Yeah.
thing. It is as much as again, I've heard people joke so much about the secondary model motions, aka the jiggle physics and all that shit, are like so highly done, but the hair still kind of looks weird and stiff. And stiff isn't even really the right word, but it's just it doesn't.
Doesn't move naturally.
No, it doesn't. It just like looks like, yeah, kind of just like spaghetti that's just been kind of it's just kind of flopping around. But it doesn't really bother me. I may go in and turn it on, see what it looks like with the short ponytail, but it doesn't bother me. My eyes are drawn other places, so
Yeah, I'm just
I
sad
found it distracting.
there's no third toggle for shaved head,
all right. So should we move past the Gooner news and because there's there've been a couple other interesting releases so far this month.
Yeah, another Crab's Treasure came out.
I was gonna say people have been talking up another Crab's Treasure that it's real heads have been paying attention to it and have been aware of it since they first revealed that you could.
Yeah, I think it was like 2021.
That there's a accessibility option where it's literally just called "Give the Crab a Gun," and you just give him a gun and it can one shot everything. But
that's awesome.
But it's it's a surprisingly deep and well done Souls-like. I love that the currency, other than souls or something, is microplastics.
Oh no.
Yeah, because it's got a significant environmental message. A lot of the things that you're
Yeah,
replacing
because a lot of your shells
shell
are
with,
garbage.
yeah, it's straight up garbage. So, yeah, if Stellar Blade wasn't out right now and I didn't have other things that I know that I need to play coming up, that one would be on my
If
to
I wasn't
play
on hour
soon.
98 of Final Fantasy VII before finishing my first playthrough.
What are you at? What's your hour count at right now? Because I felt like I did pretty
98 hours in chapter 12.
Okay, so I did somehow do things faster than you did. Although I guess there are some side things I didn't do
Did you go back through
fully.
and do everything on their hard modes?
No, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
I did not do Gears and Gambits and
Fort Condor
on hard mode. No, I did not. So
I did all of those on hard mode.
Yeah, so there you go.
Gears and Gambits by itself was probably 3 additional hours of playtime just on doing those on hard mode.
Yeah, because I guess doing those probably makes up most of that difference because
then
13,
all the additional mini
chapters
games with their
13 and
additional tiers.
14 are pretty quick. Yeah.
Salute to you, sir.
But yeah, I was asking Matt, are you gonna put down Final Fantasy VII in between?
It doesn't make sense to.
Yeah, finishing the first playthrough.
Because hard
play
mode is
something
when
like
the
Stellar
combat
Blade
actually unlocks itself, and I should be in the most locked in to how everything reacts and works when I'm doing it that way.
How often do you they introduced a true kind of parry system more so?
I parry quite a bit.
They tried to do that. I did not. There's maybe Gilgamesh, the Gilgamesh fights. I did some of the most parrying. But I find enemy animations to not be Final Fantasy's strong suit.
I'm also actually
reading.
I'm in Punisher mode 90% of the time. So
yeah, I did not parry a whole lot at all. Still, the dodging is still much.
It's funny because so far my playthrough has basically been hard mode because I haven't used a single item, not one.
Wow.
I don't understand how you're.
I have 99 mega potions because that's how many I've found throughout the playthrough and crafted.
So I use the biggest ones that I would use is ether and usually out of combat. Usually I would do it out of combat. Just
in that instance, I would just find a bench and go to the bench.
Yeah, I guess I probably didn't need to. Although again, there were times where I found it in some of the end fights that I just found it more efficient to use.
I'd also read in hard mode this time around. You can use the chocobo stops to replenish MP and HP, but you have to use the cushion. Okay. So I've accumulated 99 cushions.
Yeah, say cushions are easy to craft. They're not hard to craft. That was never an impediment for me. All right. So let's actually move on and get into
No.
to actual news. Let's not talk about a game that's basically 2 months old at this point. And
2 months
let's-
old. 2 months old.
It is. That's right, isn't it?
How dare you? How dare you say that like so dismissively? I will
I mean,
filibuster this court, sir.
It's out of the
No
zeitgeist.
filibusters in
Irrelevant.
court.
Yeah, it's officially irrelevant. It's out of the zeitgeist. We're talking about other things now.
24-hour news cycle, baby.
But the last thing I'll say is Matt and I have been like talking about this like a lot, is that the Game Awards this year are going to be super interesting, but I think the highest contention category is going to be best RPG. Because you don't have
With who
so far
as
you don't have something that is like truly going to that eclipse others like Baldur's Gate was a shoe in, right? But so you got Final Fantasy VII,
Unicorn
Final Fantasy
Overlord will
VII.
be in there.
Unicorn Overlord could be in there, although it might get stuck to.
It'll count because they sometimes loop those together as overarching
It's
RPG.
totally gonna win best strategy, I think. But I think it may just get stuck there. But then you got like Dragon's Dogma 2.
Mhm.
I don't know if people will probably not classify Stellar Blade, even though it has some kind of RPG elements, but it's probably gonna just stick to action.
No, the fun part about this year's Game Awards is going to be when Shadow of the Erdtree wins Game of the Year and sets the world on
Precedent.
fire.
As much as I'm sure it's gonna be really good, I really don't want an
A
expansion.
DLC to
I do
win
not
Game
want a
of the Year.
DLC to win Game of the Year. I don't want
Has
that.
one ever?
No, I
No.
don't think
No.
so. Because that's taboo. That's not.
But they have
Yeah.
nominated them.
People wanted the Xenoblade one to win last
Yeah.
year.
It was a good DLC.
People wanted that one to win.
People
All right,
wanted
but-
Cyberpunk to win.
Yeah, but that one's a weird case, you know. I mean, I guess accounting in. Did they just want Phantom Liberty to be the
Yeah,
thing
it
that
was
nominated?
Phantom. Yeah, that's what was nominated. Phantom Liberty got a Game of the Year award
Where?
nomination at the
Where?
Game Awards.
Oh, that got one for. It just got that for ongoing game, and that's the one it won. I don't. It wasn't
I
nominated
thought
for
it
Game
got
of
a
the Year.
nomination for Game of
No.
the Year.
No, I know for certain it did not.
Okay.
At least at the Game Awards, maybe somewhere else, but
Okay.
maybe some weird little magazine nominated
Yeah.
it for Game of the Year, but no. All right, Andrew, start us off this week. He sent
Yeah.
us a 46 slide pitch deck, or not? It's not a pitch deck, I guess. It's just I mean, even though
Yeah,
that's
so
what they all
lock in,
call
folks. We're going to go through all 46 slides.
Yeah.
of the
Synergy.
PC
One by
and
one.
the new Zoo PC and console gaming report for 2024.
Yep. That's the one. So yeah, so it's just an industry report, and like, this isn't anything immediately or currently top of the news, but I did find some of the trends that they've outlined to be pretty interesting. And I really just kind of wanted to discuss them with you all and kind of get your thoughts about how we see these things playing out in the market and what it means from a longer term perspective for gaming industry, particularly from the consumer side. This report is purely focused on the business, so obviously that'll impact the workers when decisions are made, but it's not really speaking to the development process here. And what I found to be kind of the most interesting was where the transactions were in the market, which this was kind of the one thing that I saw positively, which was that for last year, we still had over 55% of revenues and transactions across console and PC coming from premium games. So like, to me, that's a good sign that the actual selling of a physical, or not physical, but a game on its own, not in some Xbox Game Pass or anything like that, is still the majority of sales.
Yeah, so that's
I
accounting
like
for
that.
just the game sale and not like microtransactions on a freemium
Yeah,
game.
well, so that's the
or-
other part of it, right? I'm looking
Right.
at the graph here, and it's like, for PC and console respectively, it's like 30% and 33% for microtransactions, and then again respectively 12 and 8% for like DLC.
Yeah.
And so
12 and
that
8% for DLC seems fine to me. DLC relatively lower. 33%
It really
in
makes me sad.
microtransactions is
Particularly-
fucking sad.
particularly on console. I mean, the fact that this is still on console and PC markets, like you expect that in mobile games. Mobile games we know are fucking huge, particularly globally. And that's what those games are. They're slot machines.
Speaking of that, just another kind of related thing in the news with Pokemon Go's update. One of the biggest updates they did to the UI that I think was hilarious.
Is putting
Their
the coins at the top of the
microtransactions.
shop.
Yeah, they're in their shop. Their microtransactions were all the way at the bottom since 2016 when they released the game. They finally put them to the top. So when you open the shop now, just right in your face, it used to be where like the free daily box was that you could click and get like items.
Dude,
Now
like,
it's
I
the
love
fucking, here,
that
buy
level of
these
design.
coins.
I love that design. Like the only mobile game that I've played in the last probably 5 years is Marvel Snap, and I mean, the UI for that game and for all like the different menus and shit is fucking terrible. But like you have like, yeah, daily rewards and like just claimable things when you just naturally progress through the game.
Mhm.
Like you've gotten enough things and you can upgrade a card for free, and every time you upgrade a card it boosts your like collection total, and you get little extra things every time you hit that without spending a single dollar. But then to go and find that, the free shit, you're scrolling,
Yeah.
scrolling, like looking past probably 50 tiers of different fucking premium currencies and bullshit.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's so hard
I
to
mean,
find the
it's-
free shit. It's so
I think
hard.
we've talked about it on the
They
podcast
tuck it
before. Like,
away.
there's a whole like we've talked about the design of like grocery stores and how they funnel you through to make you go through every aisle to buy everything. Or
Yep, and
when
they
you go
put
to a
shit at the
convenience store
checkout.
and the convenience store puts all the candy in the place you're going to be standing in
Yep.
line and waiting so that you can impulse buy the candy bar.
Social
They've just started
engineering.
adding that to mobile platforms more and more, and social engineering is the proper term.
So yeah, what these numbers didn't surprise me in terms of like industry totals, but like then it was peeling it back and realizing, oh, this isn't talking about mobile games at all. This is purely PC and console, right? These figures of 30 and 33%. So that was kind of eye-opening. The other one that stood out to me, like just again realizing what lessons are developers taking from things like this is not going to be the good stuff of like, yeah, the majority of game sales come from, premium full length experiences. But then you look at like the different platform top 10 games by
Yeah.
monthly average user, and I mean it's Fortnite across the board on all
Yeah.
platforms.
I mean,
That's-
dude, how would you not play Fortnite? They're adding Billie Eilish to the game.
Dude, the
Dude, who's playing
executives are
people playing Fortnite on Switch? It's just like, what are you doing with your life?
I mean,
Which is
that's
still
because
somehow
their
the
parents
number
bought them
one
a
thing.
Switch.
Yeah, because the kids have the Switch Lite. What I think is going to happen is the executives are going to hook on to the same percentage that we were hooking onto, the 33% microtransactions, but for the exact opposite reasons that we're looking at it. And they're going to say, damn, that's pretty high. How can we get that higher?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But it's like Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft, Rocket League.
All the children games.
It's like all these
Grand
all
I
Theft
mean,
Auto.
I wasn't going
all
to go
the
necessarily as far as children because a lot of those are now played by people who are in their low 20s, who are, it's hard to justify calling them children anymore.
yeah, a lot of these are not actually that
Sure.
with the exception of
It's
like,
like
Fortnite,
Fortnite is super
Roblox,
popular amongst the low
Roblox,
20s.
and Minecraft, which are, I'd say, are equally popular across most
Sure,
age
but they're
brackets, most
still
demographic
the point
brackets.
Yeah.
being that young people are getting exploited for the money.
I was
that,
gonna call
you know,
them
they don't have.
the free daycare.
Yeah, but it's like the games that are in these lists. Yeah, they kind of change ranking depending on platform, but with like a few exceptions, and honestly, the biggest ones come from Switch.
Yeah.
But all the other platforms, basically, it's all the same games, just kind of mixed around. Fortnite,
Well, that's
Roblox,
why
Minecraft, Call of Duty, Valorant, Rocket League. Basically, you find on every single one of
wasn't there
these.
discussion or news around Microsoft looking to change the monetization around Minecraft?
I don't recall that. In what
Or
way?
adding a microtransaction tier or like menu to Minecraft.
I don't remember.
I don't remember seeing that. I don't
Wouldn't
tend to pay
surprise
much
me.
attention to
But
Minecraft news.
but yeah, they do a pretty good job of kind of summing up the things that dominate what people are playing, and it's the gaming platforms like Roblox and Fortnite, the competitive multiplayers, your sandbox, Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto, and then your annual franchises like the sports games, and that's in Call of Duty, and that's like accounting for
Seeing articles talking about Microsoft adding the Minecraft marketplace.
there it is, yeah. Okay. So they are adding a marketplace.
The one at least
Or
healthy,
added.
the one at least healthy thing I saw, I don't exactly know where in these slides I saw it, but that I think it's healthy for the industry is that they're back to and have accepted pre-pandemic growth levels,
Yes.
that it's still expanding, still growing. But they've
But
come to
not
realize
everyone
that,
in the world is trapped inside their house playing
yeah,
Animal Crossing.
they're like, because like, yeah, monthly hours are down because people are playing less than they
People are
were
back at
in
work.
the pandemic. Yeah. Um yeah,
Monthly
quarterly
hours
play
down.
time
How
has
can people be back at
decreased.
work when people are telling me that no one wants to work anymore?
Domestic or not established markets, they're seeing much lesser growth again and gonna refocus back on emerging markets. That's where all the future growth's now projected. One of the other things that I did find slightly concerning too was one of the later slides talks about how studios are relying on established franchises and um, don't really need to market those because of their established
Existing fan
IP.
base.
And yes,
Well,
and
that's a huge bit to, try to curb somewhat of the, rampant explosion of development costs, because you don't have to
yep,
basically have a marketing budget.
yeah, exactly. There is no marketing budget, and if you're
Like
doing a newer one, you
I
can even
cannot tell
reuse
you the
some
number
stuff.
of times that that I see ads for the new IPs. Like, they do spend money still on ad budget, on on marketing budgets. I've seen a shit ton of Stellar Blade ads. I texted Matt last night. I keep getting a lot of ads for Sandland, the new game by the final game by the GOAT Akira Toriyama. But it's the commercials are very funny. I'm not going to play this game, but it's the game is Sandland, and the music for the ad is Sandstorm by Darude.
Amazing.
So I've been enjoying that. It took me like
Shouts out
It's
to
funny
them.
because I woke up to your text saying that this morning. And then the first article on Reddit I saw about Sandland was how it's like plagued by like micro stutters right now.
uh, like they're going to the beat of Sandstorm by Darude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've seen very middling reviews for it. I don't really have any interest in playing it. But no, I just like that ad is pretty funny and pretty clever. And whoever had that idea and got secured that license, should get a promotion.
I mean, I think one of the companies who stands as like a testament and warning theoretically to people about new IPs is Square when they went through their their little cycle of let's release like a dozen mid games that are varying degrees of new or not all at once.
What we need, that's where, like we talk about this and people talk about
I'm
it
not
more
saying it's a good thing
with
that Square's been scared
movies.
off by that, but
Yeah, say with movies is that like, it's the same problem, right? That, they're only the executives
yeah, we're
only
not going to
have
get a
faith
Nice Guys
in,
sequel because
yeah,
Angry
in
Birds did
established
too
stuff.
well.
There's no room for the, the mid-budget, film anymore.
Yeah.
There's no like there's,
Yep.
there's very little room for,
For Dio Field Chronicles to exist.
yeah, we are hopefully seeing an emergence of it's the one kind of plus side. I think we've talked about it in previous episodes of all the human cost of like, industry layoffs and stuff is that these developers are kind of regrouping and creating new studios,
Yeah,
smaller.
and we get Callisto Protocol.
Sure, there are bad ones out there too, but like that we're seeing it's going to take a while to come to fruition, but like that the double A game could be on a come up,
Yeah.
it could be a cycle that like we're
Yeah, but what
that
about the quadruple A game?
there's going to be a
As
burst that the AAA is going to burst and you're going to get the big companies trying to make the next quadruple A game and just make
yeah,
more
it's worked
just
so
going to make
well.
more and more
Skull and
Skull and
Bones
Bones.
reset the entire market.
It was really funny. Somebody like posted like, "Oh yeah, Skull and Bones on sale for like $35," and they're like, "Oh, that's like 7 something per A," and I'm like, "Yes."
All right, and then
Fucking
just to wrap up this component of today's pod, there is one thing that I did find pretty positive in here, and it was takeaways from the successful games of the last year that were new titles, which included like Baldur's Gate, Helldivers is in here too, and what they highlighted I liked a lot because they spoke to games, building a tight, familiar core game loop, sticking to that gameplay loop, and the like essence of the game and keeping that to their core, and then developer support and community building as the other aspects, which I think is a good thing.
which
Like
I actually think the Helldivers devs have
Mhm.
maybe gone too far into the like lean into community support where they're like constantly updating and patching. Like, slow down, guys. It's okay.
But then you got Joel who's just fucking with you every now and
Yeah.
again.
You know how they
So
got
there's a nice
the
balance. There's a give and take.
yeah.
Yin and
You
yang.
know how they completed the major order for the planetary defense.
Uh-huh.
The first day, everyone was all excited. The second day was filled with people doing fucking Pepe Sylvia boards of how
Yeah.
Joel put his finger down and helped us win the major order by like setting up the supply line planet, capture or like redefense that like
Um,
won several downstream planets. It was a whole thing.
I've just like been scrolling through the back half of these slides here, and so the one on slide 39 with the barriers between PC console and mobile gaming coming down,
Yep.
the graphic is really I think is really misleading in how they try to shade this that like, oh look, mobile gamers are moving out and trying to reach into the
No, it's the other
other
way.
gaming. It's the other way. It's
Yeah.
completely the other way.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I mean, I'd be lying if they said they haven't gotten me now. When I found out that the best way to play Dragon Quest via non-emulation
Right,
is just to buy the Play Store versions.
yeah, you was texting me about that. It's like, yeah, like early Dragon Age games, the best way to
Dragon
play
Quest.
is yeah, sorry. The Dragon Quest games, like the best way to play, yeah, is the fucking mobile versions, which like they were like all on sale too.
Yeah.
This past like week. They've been like you can get like each one for like $2. And I'm like, oh
Yeah, you
no, I
can
don't
get
want to
Dragon
do
Quest
that.
1 through 6 and 8 all on the Play Store.
Huh.
I don't want to do
Square
that.
Square Enix has a lot of their games on the Play Store if you actually go looking.
No, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, gonna pass on that.
As much as I want to try to play those games, like I don't want to do that. I don't like playing my game on this tiny little. Even my phone is pretty large. Like, I don't want to play it on this little fucking screen.
That's why
I'd
I've got
rather-
a folding phone.
Yeah, I'd rather play it on the. I would rather go through the trouble to emulate it legally, of course.
Eventually, I will folding phone open and then cast it to my TV. And then boom, I'm playing it on the big screen.
Okay, I mean, what a time.
Giga brain.
Yeah, if that
What a
happens.
time.
And then I'll connect a Bluetooth my Google Stadia Bluetooth controller to my phone, so I'm not using touchscreen controls.
yeah. I mean,
Getting some usage out of Stadia.
I mean, for a turn-based game, I don't have too much. I would have probably the least issues with the touchscreen controls, but still, yeah, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. Like, yeah, the most I was willing to do was the fucking card game, because it's literally just poking the card and moving it, like that's, if anything, that simulates real life, card playing better than, playing that on
No,
PC.
because it doesn't really simulate the full act of card playing because there's no smell. You forgot about the smell, you bitch.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're coming up with the AI gamer smell. Speaking of gamer smell and card games.
Yes.
Yeah, I was trying to set us up for
Mike, you set that one in the original.
Oh yeah, I
group
forgot
chat.
about that one.
Yeah.
I gotta pull it up
This is
now.
a silly
But
one.
I'll filibuster while he's pulling it up. This is
Yeah.
why I don't like to say I enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Magic to people, because the immediate
Yeah.
connotation is a -5 to my fucking smell score.
Yeah.
Hygiene 0.
For all of our listeners, I take hygiene very seriously. I
Uh-huh.
shower regularly and wear deodorant.
and
I
thoroughly.
take care of my beard.
Oh my god.
was it Yu-Gi-Oh?
Most of
or
the time,
It
Magic?
was
I smell
Yu-Gi-Oh.
fucking-
It was
I
Yu-Gi-Oh.
smell like sandalwood.
It was a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament that had to get canceled because the smell was too strong.
Yeah, people were legitimately
smells
having to
of
go to the
vinegar.
hospital.
People were getting sick
I was looking
from
at that one.
from the body odor of some of their attendees.
On that note, I saw a Twitter post about this girl who went to a Yu-Gi-Oh card playing tournament and won her first game and then left, and people were like, she got yelled at and kicked out because she was a woman, and her response was, no, I just couldn't handle the smell, I had to leave.
Incredible stuff.
I mean,
folks.
I was reading testimonials on the Reddit thread for that article of like various card shop or like game shop owners. They're like, yeah, man, like I don't host Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments anymore because they are consistently the least bathed.
It's so bad. In 2019, Konami released a guideline for their tournaments where it says
involves deodorant.
You had to wear deodorant. Yeah.
It says you are expected to be clean whenever you enter a tournament. Neglecting to wash or put on clean clothes contributes to an unpleasant atmosphere at the event, as the tournament can be crowded and the day can
This
be
sounds
long.
like
Persons
Dennis's
who neglect self-care to the point that they are negatively impacting the tournament may be asked to correct the issue in order to continue the event.
This just sounds like Dennis's contract he has women sign before locking them in his soundproof bedroom.
You will be clean.
I just go the prison route, set up some temporary showers, throw those gamers in there,
Delouse
a little
them.
bit of louse. Yeah.
No, so what you do is you have
like
instead of a metal
science
detector, you have an odor detector that they walk through.
Yeah.
There are the things in the fucking airport, the little puffers, the air puffers.
Yeah.
When it turns red, you get.
They
like
are
a
smelling
metal...
you. They are smelling you. Those things are smelling you. That technology does exist. I mean, they're smelling you to see if you have fertilizer on. If you come into contact of nitrous based fertilizer, but
you set it up like you would like a sheep shearing gate, where you've got a metal barrier that comes down that ushers them towards the shower.
You put like it's like it's a fake little opening. It's just like enter this way to get enter a chance for free body pillow. Free waifu
and
body
meanwhile,
pillow.
they're just like pulling the science classroom like emergency
showers.
Yeah.
You've been doused in caustic chemicals.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Really, they are just dousing them in caustic, very alkaline and basic chemicals. Soap up that body.
All right.
This is why I will never associate and say that I'm a card gamer.
Yeah.
And when people ask me what my hobbies are, I don't lead by saying I'm a gamer because that also carries negative
Oh
connotation.
God, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
privileged
hide that.
information. I don't share
Yeah.
that with,
Yeah.
with casual
So
acquaintances.
Yeah, I gotta know you.
What did
pretty
you do
damn
this
well.
weekend? Oh, some yard work, organize the house a little bit.
Yep. No, I would not be getting laid ever.
All right, let's backpedal towards more of just industry news. Most evil gaming conglomerate decides to break up into 3 somewhat less evil gaming conglomerates.
Yeah, definitely not in a trench coat.
Yeah. So Matt, this was your pick. What's going on with our favorite?
I picked this just because it felt
at least
fitting.
at least now you cannot claim that they are funded by state terrorism, right? That's the big reason why this isn't going on, is because they are not connected to the Saudis,
because of like a $500 million pullout from the Saudis.
It was more than that. It was over $1 billion.
Was it 2.5 billion?
It was a couple billion.
I read some, but this is the funniest part. It was basically a handshake agreement for a cool bill.
Nice.
And they then structured their whole
we're buying all these
system
companies
around that. Yeah.
Dude, I wanted to talk about this
nightmare.
because I've been enjoying the shambles that has been Embracer Group for the entire year.
Yeah, except I feel
like
bad
every
for
month
all
it's
the
been like,
fucking
okay, we're selling off these
getting
companies that we don't need anymore because we don't have the money for them, and like we're gonna like shuffle some people around. As like, does anyone want Crystal Dynamics? I know we bought them like a year ago, but like shit.
Everything's on sale.
Yeah, fire sale.
So they split up into 3, again, definitely not trench coat based organizations. The Asmodee Group, I love that it's in quotes here. The Coffee Stain and Friends.
Why do the two of them have friends in them? The and friends. It bothers me.
I'm assuming
because they're trying to be cool, and
I'm assuming the and friends is their way of saying we gave them like 5 other studios who are not at all related.
Well, yeah, that's the case for the Middle Earth Enterprises and Friends, right? That's obviously they own the exclusive rights to, all of Tolkien shit, but that also then includes Tomb Raider under it.
Yeah.
Which that is still Crystal Dynamics, right? They still own Crystal.
Yeah. I just remember, I think it was in February, Crystal Dynamics was the one they were dangling. Anyone want it? Huh? Yeah. Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, you could buy, could all be yours.
Yeah. So Asmodee is a board game publisher.
Yeah.
And they do obviously have video game adaptations, but do they own Catan? They have at least the English language rights to Catan. But then they've got let's see, Catan. I know Carcassonne. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I know I've seen that one. Pandemic, Ticket to Ride, Star Wars X-Wing, which is a very popular miniature game. There's some others, that Diplomacy. And then like they also have, I think, they've done more in their
I just love some of the wording in this article where it's like the Middle Earth Enterprises studio is a creative powerhouse in AAA gaming development.
Gas them up, man.
What the fuck?
Yeah, just some PR consultants getting their bag.
Yeah, so it's like Asmodee is tabletop, Coffee Stain and Friends is their indies, and like
double A premium and free to play games.
And then yeah, the Middle Earth Enterprises is all the AAA stuff. Yeah, all I can say is thank fucking God Saber has gotten out of there. I care less about Gearbox, but I mean, good for them. And which also now has a new name. Gearbox is something else now.
Yeah.
I didn't
What
know
is it?
that.
What do they call it? What do they call themselves now? I don't know. Actually, I can't.
The only people I've seen excited about
Gearbox.
that are the people who are like, maybe Borderlands will go back to being fun again.
Yeah.
Arc Games
Hmm.
was bought
Definitely
by
not going to get
Take.
confused with Ark Survival Evolved.
It's Arc with a C, not with a K.
Yeah, but you
That
can't hear the difference when
yeah,
said.
yeah. So Gearbox is now owned by other huge gaming conglomerate, Take Two. Awesome.
We love it.
But
Yay,
yeah,
freedom.
but yeah, no, I'm most happy for happiest for
Saber purchased their
Saber.
freedom.
Yeah.
I like to not to demonize or patronize anything, but I like to picture it literally like them like pooling together like slave wages and bringing it to their master to free their shackles.
Oh.
They,
It's literally like, yeah, your prison labor that like I've my 5 cents an hour. I've been saving
Yeah.
it for 30 years.
Yeah.
Oh, but you forgot to account for inflation, for Biden inflation. Yeah, I don't, because like they're still like I don't know. I mean, this is some like tax loophole nonsense, right?
yeah.
Andrew, like you would know you would have the clearest indication, right? Because like they're still being like controlled by the Embracer board, right? Like
Right.
what's the actual impact of splitting into these things? Because like each one is going to be
It
individually
makes them
traded.
easier to
That's the
silo.
benefit. No,
It's like
that's the
it's
benefit.
reducing risk, right?
Yes,
That's
each
like
one gets to trade
Yes.
individually,
And liabilities.
has its
yeah,
own
yeah.
balance sheet, its own liabilities, can take on its own debt
Yeah.
as
So
needed.
if one goes down, you can just write it off and cut it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really it. That's why they're doing it.
And then the Embracer CEO is like, yeah, I've made terrible decisions that I'm not going to take responsibility for. I made a promise to the shareholders that I'd be here for 25 years and I still
Don't
have 17 years left. I'll be here till, you know, the
don't bet
heat death of the
against
universe.
us.
Yeah,
Nah.
yeah.
I'd bet.
Well, I'm pretty sure the you know, the market safe choice would be to bet against them at this point. Sort the shit out of Middle Earth Enterprises and Friends.
Middle Ether.
Yeah. Brain words not working too well today. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
But
that's just going to be the
I mean, I'm
next
just
name of that company.
I mean, it
I'm
could
just
have
always here to
almost
dance
been
on the
yeah
downfall of
Middle East
Embracer.
Enterprises if that deal
Yeah.
went through.
Kadia.
Yeah. Kadia.
Oh,
Yeah, they're gonna steal the chia pet jingle.
Their other benefit there is that like generally when you do these things, the stock prices of the companies that you split into are higher than when they're combined.
Mm.
So it gives them also some
Higher
sway
in
there.
aggregate than when they're combined in one,
Yeah.
not individually. Right.
Yeah. Instead
I'm
of
just
trading
always here
at,
to dance on the downfall of Embracer Group.
for sure.
Yep. Can't say though that there's much that I'm like really interested in from them anyways now. So I'm
I mean,
again
they've
beyond
pretty much
beyond the human cost of what all this means. It's like, yeah, they've divested themselves of like pretty much all the properties that I care about, you know, so
yeah.
and all the studios that I care about. So
So they've pretty much gutted and killed what was left of the corpse of THQ Nordic, which was the only company that I cared about in their portfolio.
right.
Just because that's Darksiders, which are some fun games. That's a SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Yeah, no, THQ has had some interesting stuff for sure. They like had operated in that kind of middle ground space
Double A.
for quite a while.
Didn't they do one of the Tony Hawks?
No, you're thinking Neversoft.
Okay.
I mean, they also had a publishing arm too. Not
Okay.
just, and that even is probably what I remember them more from is actually just their publishing. So it's possible they had some distribution. All right, so more kind of industry stuff that I wanted to talk about this week is like the kind of the two sides of the coin of gaming preservation that we've seen. Microsoft and Xbox, get a lot of comments and a lot of support from their community for doing some of the best game preservation in the industry, keeping their consoles backwards compatible, bringing old properties forward, future proofing a lot of their stuff. And Xbox president Sarah Bond in like some confirmed emails has stated that they are setting up a new team dedicated exclusively to
Assembling a team.
this project of preservation and forward compatibility. I made a joke in the chat like when this article got first sent that it was like, yeah, this looks good, but what are the ways that they could turn what should be a good thing to celebrate into something bad? And it's going to be like that they're going to bring all their old games forward, but they're going to go in probably using like AI tools and shit to scrub all the quote unquote offensive content from the games, that they're just going to do a full on revisionism of just like, yeah, we're going to get rid of all the with nothing else to fill in the gaps, and there's just going to be basically a black screen for whenever one of our developers did a racism, and it's like, yeah, the racism is bad, but
I mean,
ignoring and trying to act as if the racism never happened, is also bad.
I mean, on the other hand,
There is
they
no
have to
racism
stop.
in Bossing Say.
On the other
There
hand, they
definitely
have
was, folks. There definitely was some significant racism in Sing Say.
well, they now can't let anyone play Call of Duty games by that metric. So
Yeah,
Is that would be the most base thing to come
but
out
it's
of like
yeah,
any-
but whose definition of
Yeah.
offensive are we talking about here?
Exactly, like, come on.
Nationalist jingoism, that's good. That's the good stuff.
Nah, man, the U.S. military's even moved past COD. They're using Helldivers now.
Dude, the unironic adoption of that game for recruiting purposes is so funny. It's so funny. Absolute boneheads.
My
Like,
question is, do you think they realize it and they're just going with it because it's popular and we'll pull kids into the booth, or do you think they're unironically like, yes, for democracy?
I think it's the unironic part. I don't think that they are with it enough to realize that why it's so popular is people, making fun of
So this is
the
like the Full
jarheads.
Metal Jacket controversy all over again.
Starship.
Oh, this is a great war movie.
Yeah.
No, you idiot.
They used to love showing Starship to recruits too.
Yeah, they're dumb. They have always been stupid.
Incredibly.
But here's the thing:
you
is
don't
that
have to tell me. I went
it
to
will
school
work,
with them.
but that will work, and there are plenty of stupid people out there
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
also
Again, you don't have to tell me. I went to
Yeah.
school with them.
Because there are people who are unironically engaging with it. The majority of people understand the satire. I'm happy to report,
Yeah.
at least anecdotally, you can tell like the the Reddit thread following this thing was actually mildly optimistic, which is not usually the case, where people are being like, yeah, like they've completely missed they've jumped the shark here, completely just,
You mean Redditors be able to read hidden context challenge impossible?
usually, but they have succeeded here.
I know.
And yeah, and basically they're clowning on these recruiters that like, it's like we're out here making fun of your goofy ass.
When something is so ham-fisted that all of Reddit catches on and
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah, that's bad.
Again, I went to school with these people. the most subtle thing you can do is just hand them the pack of crayons and ask them what's their favorite color.
Yeah, they
To
won't
draw
answer.
with or to eat?
I say they won't be answering because they'll just be chewing on them already. Uh,
The green ones fit best in my ear.
yeah. So, what do we think is going on with Xbox doing this? Is there's I mean, it's there's
I
nothing
think
about
they're begging for
Xbox
publicity.
as Xbox. For me, this is my skepticism just comes from corporate
Microsoft.
just
It's
corporatism that there's something nefarious going on here, no matter what
Yeah,
no
they,
matter
they
what
want
it
to
is.
be the,
I
the
know
sole
why.
owners of the
Okay.
vault.
it yes, that's part of it. And because they want to put all of them on a fucking Chromecast so you could play all of them from whatever fucking TV that you own.
Yeah,
That's why.
they want to be the sole access of the vault, and they want to sell you that access via subscription service.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And want to be able to do it on streaming.
because part of it's going to be like, we are going to make these games forward compatible. We're going to completely cut off any license that you may have had to the previous games, which is going to dovetail into this next bit of the story that I want to talk about. So that yes, it's like, we've made these games accessible to you, but not in the versions you already own. You've got to pay us again via a subscription service to get access to the games you've already had and already played for decades. That's it right there.
Yeah.
And as we've seen, yes, Ubisoft is starting this trend off with a bang by completely delisting and shutting off
Not just delisting and shutting off, rescinding people's in library licenses.
To their game The Crew, and which has prompted a huge backlash and has started an online campaign to petition the French government to step in. And you guys can go and check out the campaign itself. It's started by YouTuber what's his name? Why can I not see it?
Things are off to a good start.
The French government the French government is too busy right now trying to convince the rest of Europe to buy their weapons instead of US weapons to do anything else.
But it's like they have this guy who is a fan of The Crew and is not pleased that this game is being removed. It's like saying that this is not necessarily about the crew. This is more about
it's a larger issue.
But it's but why they're doing it this way is that the French courts are the most likely to take this up. There are more extensive reasons that you guys can go check out, his video on his channel. Again, the account is Accursed Farms on YouTube. Starting this
because to me there's
campaign. Stop Killing Games is the program.
With that excuse me, without knowing too much about it or like too many details, one thing that stands out to me is like this might even be protected under the GDPR, because like you under the GDPR, like your data, which is the EU's like data protection legal scheme, you own your data and it's supposed to be transferable. So like if you played that game on Steam and have accumulated trophies and stuff, like that's all data that should in theory under UK law then be transferable to whatever, to Epic if you wanted to play The Crew through Epic if it's hosted that way. So I wonder if completely revoking the license and like limiting your access to
how does
data,
that apply to when that license is no longer available anywhere?
But that's what I'm saying. Like
to transfer the data to Epic, it would still need to be hosted on Epic. Would be my.
But that's what I'm saying is like prior to them revoking it, like that you would be able to do that. So my thought is like they would be potentially be able to be enjoined from removing it from Steam libraries and removing that license because of the issue with the data. Again, that's just a very like surface, not knowing all the details and obviously not knowing too much about French law and UK law, just some of the
Pretty
larger
sure most
schemes.
French law centers around he who wins the baguette pull gets the
Yeah.
first shot.
You rip it in half. Whoever's got the
who's
the
got
longest
bigger.
half. Mike, do you know? I heard someone explain it a certain way that, of course, I'm now blanking on the actual terminology, but it's like the difference between U.S. legal system and the French system. One
Yeah.
being a civil system, and what would the other one be? I feel like it also
It's
started
an
with a C.
adversarial. It's like
Bro,
usually
if the French,
a
if it's
common
called
law and like
Common
it's
law. That was it. That was it.
adversarial.
That was
Yeah.
it. It was common
So
law versus
English,
civil.
yeah, English and American law is common law, and it's in the English common law tradition, except for Louisiana in America, which is civil law.
which was purchased from the
Thank you,
French.
French. Yeah, exactly. So civil law is just more of an investigation rather than two parties coming together and being adversarial against each other, presenting facts and arguments. It's like you're more of an advocate while the judge is sitting as an investigator to look through the law, the facts that you're presenting, the advocacy to then make a decision, rather than just being the mediator in a sense of these two adversarial parties in competition.
So that was a point that they made, is the fact that the French legal system operates under civil law means that it's more likely that action will be taken. And so like they're focusing on this game in this jurisdiction because it will increase the likelihood of, precedent, international law precedent that people can then cite in other legal systems and traditions to be able to kind of start a groundswell of movement in the
and
direction
if a French court finds it, like, for example, in violation of the GDPR, and then it's taken to like the EU appellate courts, if you're going from the French system rather than the Italian system, which I don't know what that is. But
so does Italian legal system
Is it
even
most of the
exist?
Italian? Yeah.
It's literally not. who can give you the biggest bribe. That is the
the system.
That's who is that's who's in charge. That who's got the
Who
the
throws
burden
the
of
best
proof is
sex
just
party?
say who is the sexiest or who has the biggest bribe.
There's a third tier there for whose nona makes the best sauce.
The best of
like who
Sunday
yells
gravy.
the loudest.
Like whose nona would be saddest if you were
So I saw those stories as obviously connected on the two ends of game preservation, but both are bad in different and unique ways. Don't we love it here? Who didn't love it there was the people at Nintendo Japan event who had their event canceled because some person called in bomb threats to kill everyone for their shitty games. So what was going on there, Mike?
Yeah, so this 27-year-old dude was he's just not happy with all the shitty games that we've had to deal with. He wants good games. He wants developers to put out.
Can you give a list
something.
of what the shitty games were? Like I'm doing this because
I need a
because of which
manifesto.
game? Yeah.
I need a manifesto to base all my
Not that I
judgments off
saw.
of.
Dude, angry young Japanese men are really on one.
So hot right now.
As of late.
Yeah. He sent 39 threats via the inquiry form on Nintendo's official website, which is my favorite part. Between August and November. So
to whom it may concern, you're a dead
man. Like the forms where you
please contact us.
I would love to know what dropped.
They're so polite. That's the thing. It's like, again,
selection.
these angry Japanese men are just like, because I forget the full story of the guy who Shinzo Abe, but it's like just had a very well mannered and reasoned argument of why he needed to die, and he executed on that premise, and then kind of surrendered quietly.
Yeah.
So
I quite
in
enjoyed
December,
the meme of the time travelers that I sent yesterday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, a 22 caliber is not big enough to kill Ronald Reagan. Here, take this. This is the homemade shotty.
um, apparently in December, his threats extended to the audience and staff of the Splatoon Koshien 2023 national finals.
So he's one of the
Um,
rare Japanese Splatoon haters.
Yeah.
Which explains so much of
Well,
his
I
mentality.
mean, I don't know if he actually hates Splatoon. He could have just been targeting because it was a large event. It doesn't talk about exactly his
Yeah, but let's just
threats
speculate
to
for a
them.
second. He clearly hates Splatoon because he's targeting a Splatoon event. He's walking around Japan all day with his Nintendo Switch, and he's like, "Yo, you see this? I'm playing this great game." They're like, "Oh, you're not playing Splatoon, you fucking loser! Get out of here!"
Yeah.
Ready? Here's one of his threats. I'll make you regret bringing a shitty game into this world. Though it's not clear what game he was referring to. He's just
Incredible.
just throwing shit on the wall.
That's
You know?
incredible.
'Cause the games you make, Nintendo, they fucking suck.
I'd love to interview this guy.
Yeah, he's gonna be in a Japanese prison.
Yeah, I
for
was
a
about
while.
to say he's in a Japanese prison.
But let's get him on the pod, folks. Like on some of his.
If he
some
was
of his
South
yard
Korean,
time.
I could set it up. But
So on some of his
Japanese
yard time,
be too hard.
let's get him on the pod.
Campaign Comrades trip to Japan, and then we just try to schedule a visit.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
We're just asking him what games were shitty.
Yeah, I just want his definition of
that's what I'm so curious as to what's going on there.
No, we'll never know because he's just gonna be locked up forever. And Japan's not gonna release what.
Well, at least he's free. At least he's free.
What if he was like, these games
now.
are shitty, and he was talking about Sonic Forces?
Now dude's gonna be playing like solitaire and or whatever the Japanese equivalent is, and solitary confinement with himself because he threatened Nintendo. And
or I wonder how labor practices in Japanese prisons work. Maybe they put him to work in the factory, and he's like actually like making the cartridges for the shitty games. He just goes crazy.
So, no, what he was charged with. Go ahead.
What would be better would be not making the cartridges for the shitty games. He's the taste tester to make sure they have the bittering agent.
Oh man, I love Nintendo.
He makes them more bitter. He is the bittering agent.
Yeah, he's got to lick them.
It's like the Rick and Morty episode where they got the dude hooked up to the machine making the cookies out of his dreams.
Yeah, so this guy, he was charged with obstructing business by force. That's how capitalist Japan is.
I love Japan work culture. I love it. That's the crime. It's not the fact that he threatened to kill lots of people. It's that he threatened to disrupt the normal flow of business.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There's
stuff.
lawmakers.
I mean,
Republican
you were
lawmakers
kind of
looking at this, just like,
You were kind of joking about it, like because it was Nintendo, he's in solitary confinement, but Nintendo is one of Japan's like premier companies.
Yeah, I was only partially joking. There was a lot of truth behind
Nintendo is a large portion of their like domestic GDP or something like that.
Yeah, and this dude's saying, I'm gonna kill everyone involved. Be careful about the events that have spectators in attendance.
I like to imagine that.
See, he doesn't want any innocent bystanders hurt there. I respect him. There.
I like to imagine
target. He knows his target.
Yeah. Just
while he's sitting in prison, Shigeru Miyamoto is gonna walk by, clinking on the bars.
Yeah. No, Mario, like real Japan's real Mario that they created
with a fresh new copy of the dog shit Pokemon game. Just that's what he's using. Yeah. Instead of a mug, it's just
the only thing in his cell is a Nintendo Switch and a stack of all of the games he said are the shitty Nintendo Switch games.
That's his punishment. Yeah.
And it's unbreakable. Like he
can get out of his prison sentence early if he beats
all. He's got 100% every single one. Oh my
on hard.
God. Beautiful, dude. I love it there. Speaking of like how silly not Japan. Japan is a beautiful place, but how silly Nintendo is. Matt, you just you dropped this bomb on us in stream last night, talking about the details of the Switch 2 that are coming out, which we won't talk about there, but the people who got a real hands-on with the new thing. What was going on?
So Nintendo, to get around the idea of third-party leaks, because currently the gaming industry is pretty scrutinous of third-party manufacturers as being the ones who leak everything. To give them the actual hands-on with the new Switch, it's just in a shadow box, and they have to reach in and they can just touch it through the shadow box.
It's just guess what's in the box.
Yeah, literally.
What's in the box? That they're gonna be like,
wow, is this really what the Switch feels like? It's like, no, that's a pile of horse shit because we know you're the leaker.
No, in order to play it and like for the Switch to turn on, you have to leave your hand in there and get it zapped.
No, they have a
like
it's literally like that. You're not an animal. It's literally the box for it's the pain box from Dune.
Yeah, exactly. And then once you pass the test, you can play it.
The third-party developers put their hands in there, and Miyamoto is just holding the gum Jabbar.
Exactly.
Did you leak the info?
Yeah, they do have dev kit versions that are functional play, but the dev kit versions obviously don't look like the final product. So that's how they get around. They're playing on dev kits, but they wanted to hand feel the actual final product.
Man, that's so funny to me.
Yeah,
I couldn't even fully articulate why that's so silly.
It's just so silly.
It's because it's the pain box.
If you got offered, would you?
If I was this is gonna get me canceled.
People be like, I felt Switch 2 before you did.
Yeah. This is gonna get me canceled, but we'll end the episode on it. If I was one of those developers, I would make sure that I have a blind person on staff specifically to be able to answer those types of questions.
So please, recreate it from feel alone. Sneak that person in. Yeah.
Do you think you could sense color?
Savant.
Could you tell? Is it an LCD screen? Can you tell? LCD or OLED?
How many nits has it?
Yeah.
I mean,
does it have?
Some of the stuff was talking about like metal buttons and metal triggers. So that'd be stuff you'd be able to tactilely feel.
There are professional upskirters in that culture, so they can be very sneaky.
Yeah. They've just got a micro camera on their fingertip as they're reaching in. Got a fake fingertip with a little pop through. All right, we should end before we just.
Yeah, this was fun. This was good, folks. If you want to support us, best way to do it is by following us on twitch.tv/campaign comrades. Those prime subbies aren't going to hurt you. Throw them our way. We'll probably
while they last. I'm sure it's going to be taken away
at some point. Yeah, because fucking Twitch is
nowhere. You know what YouTube did recently, and then I'll let us end. You on mobile on free YouTube, you can't do the pop out screen anymore. It's a premium only feature.
on live streams. You're saying?
No, you're watching a video. If you want,
you can back out and be in other apps.
For me,
it's the Subway Surfers mode.
For me,
you can't do it with free.
For me, it does it inconsistently. I don't pay for YouTube, and I can't do it.
I literally recently got it, and it was like
today,
in order to do this
today, I didn't
3 days ago.
That's what I'm telling you. It's inconsistent for me. Sometimes it gives me that notice as well, but I have some yesterday. I was watching a video, and
I'm the enlightened one on Heaven and Earth who just pays for YouTube Premium.
Yeah, I'm like I'll
get the family plan.
I'm probably gonna get there at some point. All right, folks. Follow us on Twitch. Check us out. We play basically Helldivers as group stream.
We're just a Helldivers fucking channel at this point.
On Tuesdays,
we're doing it for democracy.
That's what we do. And then I don't know. It depends how much of a gooner Andrew and I actually are to see if we if we'll still be playing Stellar Blade.
The joke in 30 Rock when Tracy Jordan makes the porn game and gives it to Judah Friedlander to test out.
Yes.
And he comes out and he's like, I have some notes on it. He's like, you've been playing that game for 2 months.
Yeah, he's got a full beard. Yeah. was clean shaven, got a full beard.
Yeah, that's the Stellar Blade players.
All right, folks. We will see you when we see you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.